What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, as you guys know, and we're doing another top 10, obviously, because that's all we've been doing recently. Today is top 10 cars for under $5,000. So if you only have a budget of $5,000, got you covered. Now, there are cars in the world that you can find for under $5,000 and you can get lucky. But these cars are more cars that are usually under $5,000, and it's not too hard to find them under $5,000. Anyway, let's get in. Number 10 is the Mitsubishi Lancer, the 10th generation, suitably, and it came with a 2.4 liter inline 4 that made 168 horsepower, and it was all-wheel drive. And I know this doesn't sound like the car of your dreams, but this is more for the guy who needs a good old sedan to get them to work and back on time while also not having to worry about snow. It's all-wheel drive. It's a sedan. You can bring the kids to school. No, it isn't fast out the gate, but if you really fall in love with it when you buy it, there are plenty of aftermarket parts for them to make it into pretty much Evo speed. You can turbo it. You can't drift it. I was about to say you can drift it, but you can't drift it because it's all-wheel drive, unfortunately. But you can do a lot of stuff to this car. Now, if you do get one, they don't look too bad when modded, but just keep it at a minimum. Don't go too overboard and try and make it look like an Evo, because you'll get hate for that. Number 9 is the Audi S4 B6, and it came with a 4.2 liter V8, an Audi with a V8. Say what? But it made 340 horsepower, and it was quattro all-wheel drive. This is another absolutely great choice for daily driving, but unfortunately, with the price that we have now, you won't find one with low miles for under 5K, so daily driving will be rough. It is an Audi too, so parts aren't cheap, and it's not too easy to work on. They also aren't the best looking S4s, in my opinion. There are plenty of people that like them, and just my opinion. But they still are an S4 that's all-wheel drive, has 4 doors, and has a freaking V8 that makes 340 horsepower out of the gate. It's literally just a better option than the Lancer, in my opinion, which is the reason why I put it just one step above the Lancer. But if you're going for like a sports car and a lot of fun, maybe not the S4, because it's going to be a migraine. Number 8 is the Dodge Neon SRT4. I bet you forgot that car existed, and it came with a 2.4 liter turbocharged inline 4 that made 248 horsepower, and it was front wheel. Who did that? It must be a ghost. It must be haunted. But it was front wheel drive, which, take it as you will. If you like front wheel drive, you like front wheel drive. If you don't like front wheel drive, you don't like front wheel drive. Me personally, I don't like front wheel drive, but there are plenty of people who do like it. It's pretty much gives people another option if they live in a snowy area that isn't just all-wheel drive, so it's pretty cool that way. The engine in these cars can go absolutely forever with you beating on it. They do take a good beating. I have a PT Cruiser which shared this exact same engine but without the turbo, and it's still going strong at 110,000 miles with me, Mark Roden, behind the wheel, so you know what I mean. Looks like are meh. They're meh, you know, they're mediocre. But plenty of people absolutely love them, and if you love them, don't let me tell you that they doesn't look good. A good choice for a daily once again, and a great part about this car is that they haven't suffered the fate of the whole TikTok poser car guys, so they're still very cheap. Number 7 is the Jeep Wrangler TJ Hunt, coming with a 4 liter inline 6 that made 190 horsepower, and it was 4-wheel drive, technically not all-wheel drive, which once again makes this a very good daily driver. If you want a daily driver while also being able to have fun, and your sense of fun is like just feeling free, I guess, then the Jeep Wrangler is literally perfect for you. If you want speed in your life, then obviously this is not the way to go. People will argue in the comments, oh, I've seen a Jeep Wrangler do a 5-second quarter-mile time. Yes, I'm sure they can do it, buddy, but it's not practical, okay? It doesn't really happen that much. This car is more for the guy who just enjoys cruising around in the top of this Jeep. This isn't my usual choice. If you've watched my videos, you never see trucks on there or anything like that. But I can't argue that Jeeps are extremely cool, and to get so much love, you get so much attention in a Jeep. There's such a great community around them. Everybody loves each other, and aftermarket support is absolutely endless. You can do whatever you want. You can turn that car into a transformer if you want. It's a great choice. Number 6 is the Acura RSX. That stands for really stupid X-rays. And Type-S specifically, by the way, not the base model. We don't talk about that one here. But it came with a 2 liter inline 4 that made 201 horsepower. They got one more over 200. I bet they were so proud of themselves for that. It was front wheel drive since Honda, but it probably not the best choice for daily driving. Now let me explain. It can be done and pretty easily if you can find one with low miles, but under 5K you won't be finding a Type-S with low miles. It's going to be somebody else's project car most likely, and you're gonna run into some problems and you're not gonna want to daily drive it. It's an absolute gem of a car in my opinion. I think it looks really nice and performs really well. Out of the trio, the Integra, the Civic, and the RSX, personally this one's my favorite. I think it looks mean. Aftermarket support is absolutely massive since it's pretty much a Honda, and the community is absolutely massive since it's pretty much a Honda. Also 200 horsepower for a car that weighs I think like 2,800 pounds. That's not bad at all. Numero 5 is the Chevy Corvette C4. I know, you don't want the C4, but listen, it came with a 5.7 liter V8 that made 300 horsepower, and it was freaking rear-wheel drive. You can drift a Corvette. That's awesome. And it looked like the most absolutely retro car out there, which is good for you if you're a clout chaser, because listen, retro is in style right now. People are loving retro, so if you want fame, Chevy Corvette C4, people are gonna love you. They look mediocre in my opinion. The C4 is definitely my least favorite year of Corvette, but they performed like a good old Corvette. So if you want a Corvette but don't have the money, you can deal with the looks of it. This is a very good car for the price of a freaking Honda Civic. Aftermarket support is pretty great. Not if you're going for like looks, because most people that buy Corvettes only touch performance. Just don't expect to get attention from really anybody except for like middle-aged dads and New Balances. Number 4 is the Mazda Miata NA, coming with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 140 horsepower. That's crazy, I'm just kidding. But it was rear-wheel drive, and it just simply isn't a list without a freaking Miata, which is why I had to put it on here. And this is my personal favorite Miata ever, just because of the simplicity of it. It was just so perfect, and they just got everything right. The pop-up headlights obviously is a good one. The hood looks amazing. Taillights are cute. But if you like a different one better, you can find an NC or an NB Miata for just pretty much the exact same price as the NA, since unfortunately the Miata NA has suffered the TikTok fame thing. So now they're climbing in price unbelievably fast. It's absolutely massively just scary. It scares me. But anyway, you can do quite literally anything you want to these, except for maybe use it as a daily driver. If you find one with low enough miles, they are actually a really good daily driver, but most likely you won't for under 5K. Third place is the Volkswagen GTI MK5, coming with a 2 liter turbocharged inline 4 that made 200 horsepower, and it was front wheel drive and a freaking hatchback. That was a mouthful, but I got it out. The car's cool. It's amazing. Personally, a lot of people say that this is their least favorite generation of GTI. I like this generation better than I like the Mark 6 and the Mark 7. Just saying. Obviously the Mark 4 is my favorite. It's pretty much everybody's favorite, but this one looks pretty good. I think it's really cool. Yes, the taillights are a little weird, but everything else looks really nice. They're absolutely great for daily driving, especially since it was good on gas mileage, and absolutely literally like hundreds of thousands of people own these cars, so work and parts are extremely cheap. They're pretty much like a German Civic. They're absolutely everywhere. They're quite underpowered from the factory, but easy to get power out of and very cheap. They also have an absolutely massive community around them. So if you ever are like stuck in a pickle, there's always videos on how to get it done. And it's pretty simple of a car. Silver medal has to go to the Lexus IS300, the little stepbrother to the Toyota Supra, and it came with a 3 liter inline 6 that made 225 horsepower, and it was, of course, rear wheel drive. Amazing, an amazing car. And that motor, by the way, was called the 2JZ GE. That's right, baby. You can get a 2J for under 5K. That's a bar right there. Now, it'll be very hard to find this under 5K, and it'll most likely have absolutely really high miles, and it will probably be an automatic, but it can be done. Keep in mind also that this isn't the GTE. First place, I bet you saw this coming from a light year away. It's the Nissan 300ZX, coming with a 3 liter V6 that made 222 horsepower, because Nissan is just perfect like that, so they get all the numbers exactly the same. And it was rear wheel drive, of course. And before I get into it, keep in mind, this is a naturally aspirated version. You will not find the turbocharged 300ZX for under 5K at all. everybody in my other video, I put it on the list, and everybody was like, no, I found a turbocharged one for 15K. That's a lie. It's not under 5K. It's because you're looking at turbo ones. We're not talking about the turbo one. You guys already knew this car was coming. I absolutely love the Nissan platform, especially the Z cars, and the 300ZX is like the big brother to the car I have, the 350Z. So how can I not like it? It's just an absolute beast. The only downsides that I can think of when it comes to this car is, one, that it has 2 seats, but that doesn't affect you if you don't have any friends. Smart thinking right there. And it's getting kind of old, okay? It's getting a little old and a little unreliable, so it's not a good daily driver. But who cares? If you're buying a Z, you got to make sure you have another car lined up anyway. The Z is not a daily driver. Even a 370Z isn't a daily driver. Just, if you're buying one of these, make sure you have a daily driver. These cars are good. They're just good. I love them. Everything about them I just loved. The engines can't handle much when talking about boosting it, but it's still a 300ZX. All right, if you guys made it this far, I want to say thank you. Thank you guys so much for watching the list. Thank you guys so much for 3,600 subscribers. We are literally closing in on 4,000 within, what, 2 weeks since we hit 3K? Absolutely mind-blowing. So thank you guys so much for that. I love you guys. Literally just freaking love you guys so much. All the comments I get just makes me so freaking happy. I can't believe it. Here's a little update on the 350Z. We're still working out some of the problems. Still trying to get a couple of the things fixed on it before I actually can drive it, but we're getting pretty close. Hopefully, we have to find out if there's an air pocket in my motor. If there is an air pocket in the motor, I gotta pull that out. And then after that, the car should be drivable. I still have to learn how to do manual, but you'll be able to see that because I'm gonna film that. And then after that, I'll be making videos on that car a lot more and not doing as many top 10s. But keep in mind, the top 10s aren't going anywhere. I like doing these videos. You guys love to watch them. So they're definitely gonna stay. They're not leaving the channel probably ever. So, well, eventually they will end up leaving the channel, but right now they're not leaving the channel. I love you guys though. Das Vidania. Have a nice day.